Does anybody else notice it getting colder out? Oh, I guess not. That means I don't need this. So, hello everybody, my name is Alex Schiller and welcome back to the video. Today's kind of different because I'm talking about the Nvidia launch of the 3000 series GPUs, and a lot of people are talking about this. I know I'm going to get drowned out by all the news stories about it from people who are more professional than I am. So I'm just going to go ahead and make a video that I know I can make, which is a talking head video about everything that's going on in my head about wanting to upgrade and all that kind of stuff, because I'm currently running an RX 590, which is an AMD based GPU in my rig, and I've always wanted to upgrade to Turing. Now I have the opportunity to upgrade to Ampere. There's a lot going on in the computer space right now, and I just kind of want to get all my thoughts out about it, and hopefully this helps you make a better informed decision if you're going to upgrade to Ampere, or if you should maybe wait, kind of like I'm thinking about what AMD is going to bring to the table. I've got some notes, but like I said, this is a talking head video. It's going to be very not cutty if I can, and just kind of splurge out all the information that I kind of want to give and see what you guys think and what I think at the end of it, and where the computing world is going from there. So Nvidia launched their 3000 series GPUs, which is essentially the topic of the video. And from everything that they've been saying, and from everything that a lot of people have been saying who have been testing the GPU behind the scenes under the embargo, and all that other stuff, is the fact that it was way better than we were expecting. Like, take for instance, so like the 3070 was predicted to have like a minor bump in core counts, and instead it went from like 4,000 something in the estimated bump to 5,888 cores, CUDA cores, that is, and that's insane. So, and the 3080 has 8,704, and the 3090 has 10,496. And now, okay, it's so many cores, and a lot of people are like, so many cores, so much use, like it's a bunch of useless horsepower that a lot of people, especially games, won't even be able to utilize. And I agree to some extent, because there are a lot of things that those GPUs will be able to do that no game developer really wants to touch at this point, because they don't really have to. Games aren't like leaping forward on the RTX train and using ray tracing. Now, the next gen consoles, the Xbox Series 1X and the PS5 are going to be doing ray tracing, so that will be interesting because they're going to be based on AMD's new GPU architecture, which is doing ray tracing. But at that point, like, if ray tracing becomes commonplace, great. If it just becomes a gimmick that makes things look prettier and softer, great. It really doesn't matter. The point of the core count is the fact that for people like me who are going to, game on it on this system and do a bunch of other cool things, but who are also going to use it for the CUDA cores that they would get in Premiere Pro and stuff like that, and all these multitasking applications, this CUDA core boost is insane. It's just way more than we needed, and it's kind of a godsend, because that allows, instead of maybe a 1.5 to 2 year window for upgrade paths, it's looking at like 3. Like, this is stuff that we could really crush it from a multimedia perspective as well as a gaming perspective. I mean, you are seeing almost a 2% or 2 times boost in performance from the 2080 to the 3080. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, the 3000 series of GPUs looks to be a double up from what we already were astounded with the original RTX series. And that I find is insane for Nvidia to just straight up leaps and bounds, when they were already dominating the market, may I add, to go and take this next step. The next thing is like more RAM and everything. So the 3070, the 3080, and the 3090 all kind of have similar amounts of RAM. So the 3080 the 2080 had 8 gigs of RAM, and now the 3080 has 10 gigs of RAM, the 3070 staying at 8 gigs of RAM, and then the 3090, which we all thought, this is where they kind of shook everything up. We all thought the 3090 was just a rebranding of the 2080 Ti, turning it into 3090 and not having that stupid Ti tag anymore. And that would have been nice, because Ti's were getting really crazy, especially in the 1660 realm, and with the Super series and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure they're still going to do that because they're money hungry, Nvidia. But The big other thing that I wanted to talk about was the fact that the 3090 is the Titan replacement, which means we're probably going to see a 3080 Ti coming out soon, which is going to be in the 11 to 12 to probably, I would almost expect 16 gigs, because HBM2 has been doing 16 gigs and a lot of like HBM2 based GPUs. So having that gigabyte count to sell it better would probably be better for them. And besides, they bumped the 3080 to where, like, right next to where the 3080 Ti would have been if it were like an 11 gig card like the 1080 and the 2080 Ti's have been. So 2090 is a Titan replacement, which I think is great. I think shortening your naming scheme to one product, so like iPhone X this, just being able to have a product line that you can like linearly look through and know one is going to be better than the other because of the higher number in the third digit corner, like second digit because you go this way with digit. I don't know, whatever, math. But I think this was a really smart move from Nvidia to just simplify the naming scheme as well as give us the Titan replacement right away, whereas Titan has always kind of seemed to be an afterthought later in the year after the holiday season or about the holiday, like the end of the holiday season of kind of release. So making it linear with the whole architecture as a whole, I think is a fantastic idea. The gigabyte counts are good in my opinion. We'll see how 28 gig or 24 gigs looks in the 2090 with the upgraded architecture, because the Titans have always had 24 gigs. So, well, not always, but you get my point. They've been very high in the gig count. Prices is really, I think, where this GPU release is going to be huge. And I only say that because I'm looking directly at the 3070 when I say this. $500 for a 3070 8 gig, which is said to do 1.5 to 2 times better based on benchmarks from other people. I'm also leaving a bunch of links below of like benchmarks and the actual release video and stuff like that in the description, so if you guys want to go watch those, because this is obviously not super tech heavy. The 3070 is said to be 1.5 to 2 times better than the 2080 Ti. And if that's the case, this price to performance race that AMD and Nvidia have been having for so long is gonna flat out be crushed. AMD is not, unless they come out with something amazing, is not gonna stand a chance to what the 3070 will be able to do to every single one of its GPUs. And that brings me to like the final point of this video, which is what is AMD gonna do next? And we already expect them to come out with something later this month or early next month to have an idea of what their GPUs are going to look like going into the holiday season so people can upgrade and all that kind of stuff. And AMD has never been good at high-end GPUs. They just really haven't ever been. Like the Vega 56 and the Vega 64 were pretty good for their time, but they got outshadowed by NVIDIA's software updates and other things like that, and then eventually the RTX line. And AMD really, really has to step up their game, not only from a price to performance standpoint, but just being able to produce something that can compete with NVIDIA's high end, because otherwise they're going to get destroyed in market share. I was telling my friend Tim that if the 3070 is rivaling the top of what AMD comes out with, or like trading blows, like losing in some games, winning in other games, winning in multitasking, losing in multitasking, like if it's competing there and the 3080 is only $700 and that's a huge leap, people are going to be more likely to take that huge leap, or they're going to be more likely to stay in an architecture that they already know rather than switch, which is what a lot of people did Intel to Ryzen. Nobody's going to go Nvidia to AMD if they're not competitive. And that is like the main concern for most people going forward, is what is AMD going to do to compete? For me, I love the AMD system. I have a Ryzen 5 1600 and a RX 50 or RX 590. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say, in this system, and I love them both. They've been great workhorses for me in editing and in gaming. but it's time to upgrade. 1440p gaming and 4K gaming are the future, and these GPUs, especially with RTX turned on and still looking great, because RTX on was problematic if you didn't have like a 2080 Ti or Titan RTX. But now, with all of the GPUs and benchmarkings that everybody's been talking about looking good with ray tracing on, we could be looking at a seriously big monopoly that Nvidia is about to have on the market that rivals that of Intel for the past 10 years. And that's going to be crazy. So, I don't know. This is a bunch of my ramblings about what I think of the current state of the GPU market. If you guys have any other ideas, any other thoughts on it, leave it in the comment section down below. I want to have a discussion about it because I could be wrong in some of the points I made, and I could be right or coming onto a breakthrough in some of the other points I made. Probably not. But let's have a conversation about it. It's GPU and computer tech that everybody loves to talk about in this niche little community. So if you guys want to talk about gaming, want to talk about multitasking performance, want to talk about anything in the comment section down below, let me know, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hopefully this was somewhat interesting. Okay, bye.